All right. And then, all right. If I do participants, invite, copy link.
Just ask the host to give you permission.
Okay. So do that. And then it'll probably.
I hit it.
Okay.
And if you can't, you might just have to drop the file to me, but it'll be fine.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Now I'm waiting for it to ask me something. All right.
Someone is at the front door.
Oh, you have a
Hold
visitor?
on.
Yeah, no, we'll hold on.
Hold on.
Let me hit us again. There we go. I paused it. So now we're good. Now we're good. All right. So I'm waiting for it to ask me.
It just says, when I hit record, it says, go, you got to go into permission.
All right. So let me go back up here. Zoom. All right. So Zoom preferences. Okay, it's not there. Statistics I don't need. Feedback, no. Accessibility, no. General, let me try this. I swear I have seen it before where it says allow.
I thought it was under more, but I don't see more on mine.
Okay, well, I just clicked view more settings. Show your profile, automatically keep zoomed. Add zoom. All right, well, I don't know. I don't see it at all, even under recording.
Okay.
Let me try this and there are more recording settings. Nope. Always show me. No, nothing. So
Well,
you know what we can do then is I'll just, when we do this, can you do Dropbox, right?
I can.
All right,
yeah.
I'll just send you like the Dropbox or the copy. Will it still work when for you to
Yes,
upload it to
I
your
can.
platform?
Yeah, I can cut the beginning off and then use what we do. So I'll ask you a few questions.
Let's do it. Let's talk.
Like it's a podcast. And then if someone comes in, and I have had my mother on my mind, I don't know why, but
Okay.
it doesn't have to be her. And it was funny, you sent me those names, and then somebody put something about Willie on the internet, but I don't even know Willie. So I do have a relative named Willie. It's so
It was so weird. So I mean, before we get going, so sometimes when I have multiple things going on in a day, a lot of stuff will start firing, but I don't really know the people that I'm going to read for. Not well. I mean, sometimes I know them, but just on Facebook or so, I don't know them well. And so this is the first time where I've had it. And I was like, oh, shit, I can ask Tammy, right? It's like, I don't know who's what. And so I've got last names, or that I think are last names. I've got first names, and it's wild. And I can never tell if they're like live people, dead people, like the Carolyn, or the Carol name I thought was kind of connected to you, but it was like, I don't know. It's so strange. And then I've got surnames, like a P name, a couple of A surnames. And I'm like, whoa.
It'll come together. It'll
Yeah,
be
it's so funny. It always does once I get on, depending on whatever shows up. But it's just weird. And I don't never know, like, who it is and who it's for. And I've got some funny names. And anyway, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll just see what happens and who shows up. So I've got my little scribble pad. So let's talk.
Okay.
Right.
Well, hello. Today we have Christy on the call, and she's a spiritual medium, the world's greatest spiritual medium, as far as I'm concerned, because she is very clear. She tuned in to the highest power, the white light, and started channeling. And we met a couple years ago, and we just continued our friendship, and we've gathered together at different things. She is working, she also works with the teachings of Joshua, Gary Temple Bodley, and they have recently written a new training session. They have the boot camp and the basic training, and that is the basic tenets of law of attraction, a deeper understanding of the meanings of universal laws. And they also have a retreat May the 4th, which I'll be there, and yay.
Yay.
So thank you so much, Christy, for sending me the email and me responding. I was like, yes, I like talking to Christy. So
we have too much fun together, and I miss you. I haven't seen you. I think it's been like October since I saw you in person.
Yeah.
It's been way too long. So I miss you. This is awesome.
I miss you too.
All right.
Yeah, we had fun together in October, but we had some adventures. Let's just say that.
We've had one too.
Yes. Recently, I was listening to a couple of the podcast, and you also have a YouTube channel. I want to specifically say that. So, the way to reach you is, how does one best reach you for a reading?
They can go to my website, which is christylevy.com, or send me an email, christytrg@msn.com. Either way works really well.
And I know you're booked up for a while, but you do readings, and they're amazing. And you can go to YouTube and watch those. And you also, you channel the white light, which was amazing, because one of the ways that we kind of connected was I did a healing session on you, and I said, oh, I just see all this white light. It was just amazing.
It really was. And that's kind of a funny thing, because that was really one of the first modalities really that I've ever done, was that with you, that healing that we did. And it was really cool. And you were telling me white light, and you had been talking about other people through that weekend that you'd done healings on, and they had colors and all this bright colors. And you said white light. And I was like, white light? That's boring. Why am I so boring? And I was so bummed out that it was just this boring white light. But then right after that healing, Gary did a little something on me with my head. And I actually felt and saw my third eye pop. And when after that weekend with the two of you just focused, this stuff lit up, and it's been insane. And then, it was right after that white light started coming in, just talking to me 9 months later, before I started channeling verbally. I just thought they were private information for me. They were just my, contact. So you saw it before anyone else did. I think you're really still the only person to actually see it, right? To actually see it. Most people don't see it, but I had an aura reading once, and it was all white. I said, well, it's all white.
Well, it is the purest light of source, and it's a healing color. We feel like, but you wear white a lot, but it was just, what I saw was it was enveloping you, and it was, translucent, but it was very clear to me. And I don't know why when I touch people, I get specific colors or images and symbols. So I do get the symbols of, it's different symbols. And for me, if I will continue and ask questions, I'll get, well, what does this mean? But before that, you were meditating. And I know you've got a really nice video on YouTube about meditation. So that was really where you kind of began, right?
Yeah, it is. I had a period of time where I was afraid to meditate just because of some things that had happened in my life. But once I started the boot camp, Gary encouraged me to just listen to the Joshua meditations with my eyes open, just casually listen to them while I was writing because I was afraid to meditate. That's a weird story. And then once I did the first boot camp, I started to understand that there wasn't anything to be afraid of in essence.
No.
So I started meditating again, and then I just became, I was dedicated to it because it was fun. Meditation to me is a flippin' blast. I
Yeah.
love it. People say, "Oh, I resist meditating." And I'm thinking, why? That's like resisting eating. Like, it's
It is.
fun to me. And so I meditated, and I did, I think 6 or 7 boot camps before any of this started to happen. But meditating, I just, to me, that's the number one thing. You have to have some experience. So I think the boot camp, writing out those exercises, doing that stuff, living it in a sense, and having an experiential thing to put the stuff in practice to change my vibration and my perspective in combination with that meditation. I really think that's what took me here, where I can access this stuff now.
It is. And that, and I'll say that was powerful for me. So, and one of the things we do at the retreat is breath work,
Oh,
and that's a deep meditation. And that is very, I found that to be very profound. I get lots of messages. I see lots of visions. And
too.
you get more and more clear through all these practices of meditation. And these are deep meditations.
Oh yeah, breath work is incredible. And I've been learning about a new one that I haven't tried yet, that is a breath work that sort of focuses on bringing up that spinal fluid. Have you heard about this?
I
Have you
do.
done this? Okay.
Yes.
I haven't done it. I had an experience meditating before where I felt something like that, and I felt like all this warm stuff everywhere, but I've never done this breath work, but I am going to try that very soon.
Yeah,
Watch a
I've
little
been
bit more.
working, I've been listening to one recently, and that there's a couple of different things. I think it's called the Gateway. This is the CIA program, and you can find it on YouTube. But
Wow.
yes, they, and they train remote viewers with this. And they train, but you go into a state, and then you flow the energy up and down your body. But part of my learning experience was through the Kabbalistic system tree of life, and that's flowing energy and colors
Okay.
up and down your body. And you have the ability or the access to strengthen certain parts of you. Like you can throw in the color red for power, and you can you can focus on but if your energy is flowing correctly, because we are energy beings,
Yeah.
so that is super powerful. Using, and you also use megahertz to meditate, don't you?
I do. That's a really funny thing that started coming in for me. That was one of the first things. I mean, first was the transitioned loved ones of just close friends, right? That started. And then I got white light. And then I think really those Hertz meditations started dropping in. And it was the strangest thing, because I really didn't know what it was. I was always just opening up Insight Timer and scrolling to either some music or something guided that lit me up. I'd learn about different meditations and just play around. But I didn't know anything about this. Was what solfeggio, I don't know how to say it, but the scale of Hertz. And I started getting these numbers. In fact, I was so uneducated that I was calling it megahertz. It was this whatever megahertz. I just the way I heard it. And it was specific numbers, and it would come in for a specific person. And in every single time, they would go to YouTube and look it up and say, this is exactly what's going on with me right now. And then it started getting where Gary would have a call with somebody, and on the call, he would text me and say, I'm talking to someone. Can you send a megahertz for her? And I would send it, and it was unblocking, I don't know, something, energy, something. And that's what they had been talking about, was she had energy, but it just, guilt. I mean, it didn't matter. And it always is like that. And now I get them all the time. And it's started to become sort of funny in my friends and family. People just message me and say, hey, do you have a hurts for me today? And I sit for, I don't know, 30 seconds, boom, there it is. And send it. I love it. Yeah. That's almost all I do now are those.
Yeah. And I've always done them. And it was funny. The last one you sent me was one that I do all the time, but I had skipped like a week. And because I asked you, but
go back to it.
I'm a little sensitive to caffeine now, or a lot sensitive to it. So I've been feeling a little anxiety, and you sent me 417, but one of the ones that I've been getting is the Vesica Pisces, which is 1.73. But for me, the symbol, symbols are powerful for me. It's like a block of understanding, but this one in particular is the symbolism for oneness. And so, and so it helps you expand your understanding of oneness. But, and you can ask for one once you get a little clearer. So it helped me understand that I could ask for my own and go within, because that is the ultimate goal of, like the boot camp is to go inside.
It is.
Everything comes from within us. And that's not the way we're taught to live.
It isn't. It's so funny that, we talk about, like, Gary and I created this, Gary and I didn't, White Light and Joshua, this basic training course. And we, took all this time, we coaching calls and all this stuff we do. And I think it's so funny. What we're doing is teaching people that they don't need us. As we're trying to teach people that you don't need a teacher, right? You just get yourself in the quantum field. Everything that you need is there. Just, you're sitting right in the middle of it, connect to it. Everything you want is right there. Everything you need.
Yeah. And I feel that way about, like, my healing. It's like, you really can heal yourself. But the truth is that I don't think people are there, and they have too many limiting beliefs. And so the podcast, the programs you've written, they're very powerful. I wrote down as I was listening, the first tenet, if you can really get this, is you are a magnificent, eternal, limitless being of pure positive love and acceptance.
Right.
Okay. Well, if you can get that you're limitless, that's beyond our comprehension for most people.
It's mine too. I all the time can, catch, it's constantly where I'm limited. And it's just, even in these things that I don't recognize that just are, right? These things that just are that way, right? My arm won't bend back that way. That's hard. I can't do that. I'll find myself saying, oh yeah, but I can't. Oh my God. All the time. Or even, I don't like this, or I don't like that. I don't like that kind of food. How do I know today? I'm different today. Do it. I limit myself. It's unbelievable all the time. And I know
we all do. And it's our family, and I see it in other people, but in myself, I have to I try to question it. Like when I say, oh, I can't do that, I know one of the biggest excuses I use is money. Like I limit myself by, well, what does it cost? But I was just trained that way by my family. And so, if you can let go of that belief, because I have seen people, and I kid you not, that have $200,000 in the bank that say they can't afford to go on a trip. And I'll be like, what? Like,
that's how it's all mental construct, right? White Light's been telling me for a while that money is a distraction. It is absolutely there so that you can follow it to discover who you are by discovering who you're not. Every time something comes up for me, and it's okay, there's 2 Airbnbs that I can choose from for this particular weekend, right? And this one, is a little bit further away. It doesn't have quite what I want, but man, it's only, $200 or whatever. And this one is right where I want to be and a little bit nicer, but holy cow, it was 4 times that. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter that much. I don't mind to walk the extra 10 minutes and I'll find myself doing that. And White Light says, no. Don't choose based on money. Take that out and choose based on the perspective you can line up with. So the one Airbnb is pretty easy for you, right? Pretty easy for you to financially, you think, okay, that's no big deal. The walking, you're pretty healthy, doesn't bother you to walk. You'd rather have a king size bed, but this will be okay. It is, so you're not going to have really any manifestation events that one, other than maybe some things are uncomfortable for you, whatever. The other one is hard for you to line up with, right? It's, all this fancy stuff and it's this or that, and it costs $1,200 a night instead of $200 and does all these things. So even if it's just a perspective, the one you can line up with easily. So if you want to choose something that doesn't really push you because you want to relax and you don't want to have a lot of manifestation events and you just know that, then choose that one. But know what you're doing. If you want to choose the perspective that you have to push for, like, wow, I know I deserve that. I know it doesn't matter. I really know the money doesn't matter, but man, I can't quite believe that perspective. But I'm going to act on it anyway. And I'm going to know that I'm going to have manifestation events, but I promise myself I'm going to process those. I'm going to do the work in the moment to process those because I want to go fast. And White Light says it doesn't matter which one you choose. It's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter. One, you're going to find yourself having to do a little bit more work. You're going to push yourself beyond what you believe. But once you do that work and process all those little speed bumps to believing that, you're there.
Yeah.
The other one, you don't have to do any work. And you do a ton of work all the time. You're always doing this. If you want to just stay in something that's great, good enough, get you there, just relax, watch TV, whatever, don't process, don't. It doesn't matter. But pick what you want to do and do it that way, not because of the money.
Right.
And that made such a difference to me because I've sweated it for years when Abraham and, friends Drew all the time would say, Christy, take money out of the equation. I can't. It is the equation. It's the whole equation. I didn't understand that. Right. Of course, I want the Ritz-Carlton.
It can be a different way. You can choose a different way.
Right.
But like you said, if you've been taught your whole life that every decision is based on money, that, of course that's going to factor into it, but you can push it. So step it up, a
little bit at a time.
Time and money are two things that we kind of limit ourselves around, like for me, travel. I was just planning a trip, and that trip I was going to have to go and come back. And anyway, I was totally flexible. I floated like water. But I decided to, go to Iceland with some friends, and then I'm going to London for a couple of days. But the tour that I booked, it took them like 2 or 3 weeks to get back to me. And I was like, oh, I need to know today. I need to know today. But I didn't. So I just would let it go. Like I would just let that just float away. And, I'm not sure why I go on trips, but, I get inspired to go. It might be to meet a person. It might be to go to a spiritual place. I hope to go to some spiritual places. I always do when I travel.
You go all over the place, but I mean, the why, I don't know, as your friend, it's so interesting. It's one of those things that like just really rounds you out. Like when you start telling stories, you just throw in these things. Oh, when I was in Egypt. Oh, when I was here. Oh, when I was, and I'm thinking, what? I thought I was well-traveled. You've been 10 times the places I've been.
Well, you're really cool. You travel more. It's different for work. But the thing is, when I get an inspiration, so it's such a very unusual thing. Like during breath work in 2016, I got the message to go to Egypt, and I did not go for 4 years. But it was open energy gates, and that to me, it made no sense. I did not know what that meant. And I was like, well, what's Energy Gate 22 and 23? Well, for me, it was, it's expansion of the planet.
Mhm.
So that did not, it took me 4 years to understand that. And someone
Yeah.
had to say something to me and say, it's 2022. And I went,
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, you had to tell me. I didn't connect it all. I mean, I'm just trying
no,
to keep up.
well, yeah. And, the trips that I take are usually like I went on a spirit drive.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the name of it. Like go on a spirit drive. I
What
drove
does that
5,000 miles.
what does that even mean? A spirit drive? What
It
does that
means
mean?
get it means go around and visit spiritual places
Places.
and just love life and live in joy. And and you're following your inspired path now. So you've changed a lot since I met you.
Yeah.
Now you're a medium and you were not.
Well, yeah.
And you are, and we both did the boot camp. That's how we met through
Yep.
that. And we both have changed significantly. We've changed our beliefs.
Mhm.
Um,
A lot.
and this next thing the things that you're doing now. So you'll be traveling now too, right?
Well, I think so. I mean, I'm traveling more because I'm spending like probably, I don't know. Let's just say right now for whatever, half and half my time in North Carolina, half my time in Tampa. And Gary and I are working on courses, doing the podcast, doing things. We haven't really released the podcast yet, but we're getting there. So yeah, I'm traveling, but we're also talking about starting to set up like events where we would go to a city and do
Mhm.
that. And honestly, I mean, I have a lot of fear around a lot of it because doing my readings, I never know what's going to show up. Sometimes it's transition loved ones, almost always it's spirit guides. It's sometimes white light. I never know. And I do it one-on-one. So at the retreat here in May, I'm going to attempt to do a group reading. And I have no idea. I can tell you that today, just because when I have several in a day or even, over a couple of days, stuff starts firing and I gets really confusing. I don't know what I'm hearing. I can't necessarily feel the energy of it. It's just names or dates or whatever. So we'll see. But yeah, that's the plan. I would really like to do that. I would love to just take off on the road and go hit a couple of cities, 3 or 4 out west, stop and see places that I want to see or whatever, and then, come back to this side and then go maybe up north to New York and Chicago, and do that. So that's the plan. We'll see how it all unfolds.
And see, I had a vision of that. When I was at a retreat doing breath work, what I saw source, which is a giant white light, and then all of the people that have been like through these programs were just like lights lighting up the planet. So
Wow.
I saw I saw like people beginning to teach this and moving beyond what we're doing now.
Mhm.
And that is, so let's go with the book you're writing, The Unimagined Life.
Unimaginable life.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is something that we off and on work on, right? We have no idea how that's all coming together. We've started it. We've done a couple chapters, an introduction, and then we go out, live different things. That came through a while back when something that White Light said to me about putting things in a box. They kept saying, just little things I would do, a vacation or whatever they'd say. What does it look like to you? Tell us about the vacation you're getting ready to have. And I would describe it. And they said, do you see how you put it in a box? You think you know what the place looks like, the hotel where you're going to stay, you've been there before, this or that, every morning you like to go have coffee, all these things. And so you don't leave us any room to deliver the unimaginable. And I thought, unimaginable. And I said, just back up out of it as much as you can and try, if you can, just don't imagine anything. Don't think about anything. Just know that you're going and be open to whatever. And the more I did it, the more they kept coming in. And Gary and I were talking about, I don't know, something. And I just looked at him and I said, the unimaginable life, an unimaginable life. And he said, yeah, he said, that's a great name for a podcast. And I said, and a book. And he said, oh my God, like there it is, there it is. And it's just about that, how I've done that, how they've led me to do that. And what has happened. The funny thing is, Tammy, you can't tell anyone. You ever try to describe a dream? Like, oh my gosh, I had the greatest dream last night. And you try to describe it to someone and they just look at you like, huh. And to you is the most amazing thing ever. And they just look at you and go, huh, okay. I have these experiences and they're so amazing. But if I try to explain it to someone, they just don't quite get it. So it really is like just for you from your perspective, just what that is for you. And it's incredible. It's incredible. The less I plan and put anything in a box, a friendship, a visit to a restaurant, a shopping trip, something I've ordered that's coming, what doesn't matter what it is. Just the less I put it into a box, the more the universe surprises and delights me. And that's what I said for years in my daily spiritual practice, starting with when I started out in the boot camp. When you write your intentions, my intention every single day for probably 2.5 years was, I intend to be surprised and delighted today.
Oh, that's so nice.
And I just did it every day. And I was all the time. And then white light started saying, surprise, delight.
Oh,
and,
that's great.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful intention.
It was. And I never thought about it then. It was just, it was just, I guess, my inner self, right? That said that, do that. And it just became a thing that has now turned into the way I live. This is unimaginable. The things that happen are unimaginable. Rock star life, and doesn't cost me a thing, right? Just this given to me, that offered to me. It's insane. And everybody can do it. It just comes from relaxing, trusting, having faith and wanting to do nothing except just express love to whatever. See, everything is perfect. It's that simple, but yet somehow that complex. So yeah, that's the book and the podcast.
Well, it's an amazing idea. And looking back, if you look back over your life, that is what your life is.
Right.
You did not plan for, the friends. I had no plan to meet you.
Right. Nothing.
I had no, these are things I could not, I might set an intention. In fact, I think I did. I had the intention, like, maybe in December, I'll say, well, these are things I want to do next year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was make 20 new friends or something like that. And so how does it come through? But through the boot camp and the people that I've met and I planned none of those things.
Right.
I met a new friend a couple of weeks ago and she invited me to lunch yesterday and I was playing the sound bowl. I did not plan any of that. And we just laughed and sat by the fire and played the sound bowl. And I had this fabulous lunch after yoga with this new person.
So nice.
You can't plan those things.
Nope.
But
Nope.
you do have to listen to your inspiration and say yes, and I did make an attempt to connect more with, and not just connect, but to really get to know people a couple of years ago, because I think that's one of my purposes, to love.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard
10% more today.
10%. Oh, I got that. I have to tell you this. So I got that message. Love 10% more. And I'm asking Christy, like, what the hell? What is that? Like, I am a very loving person. And this is what I've come to really understand from that. is that 90% of my life has just been perfect. I have an amazing life, and I have
Mhm.
amazing kids, amazing. I get up and go to yoga, I podcast. It's really tough. Let me just say that.
Oh, it's rough. Yeah.
It's a rough life. I
Yeah.
travel, I do all these things. People are constantly saying, "Oh, you just living your best life." So I focus on the 10% that's going wrong
Right.
and not the 90% that is perfect.
Right.
So that awareness came to me after a couple of months.
I
but
love it.
but you were like, "Oh, I see that running around in your brain. 10% more. Like, does that mean 10% per day, 10% per year,
Right.
10%?" But it meant that I was focusing on the 10% that I felt, because I don't really feel like my life is perfect, but it's special. It's amazing. I'm a lot
Perfect
closer
for you.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I have to just accept, I've really learned to accept. I've worked a lot on that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
I
Me too.
also thought about the message, we chose our life path. I think that message from White Light kind of resonated with me. If I look back, I can see I chose these parents, this family, this place I live, my wonderful grandkids.
Yeah.
I mean, they smile at me and love me, and I'm just like, "Oh, I'm
You
just
melt.
butter. I'm
Right. You
butter."
just melt. Yeah. Yeah. You just melt. Um, Tell me something. You mentioned earlier in the podcast is something I did not know about you, and I've got something popping in. Did you say something about Kabbalah?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you study that, or did you? I know zero about it. I know one other person who told me they study it, and that's our friend Genevieve that does the breath work.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yes.
I've never heard you say that's something you're into. Did you just start doing that, or is this something you long time?
No, in 2016, before
Okay.
I did Joshua, I did several retreats. That's where I learned to do energy healing.
Okay.
And then I went into this mentoring program, and
Mhm.
I studied EFT, NLP, the Kabbalistic. So you study it.
Okay.
It's chanting.
All right.
Uh, it's using the tree of life energy. So
Mhm.
it's setting your energetic body up.
Okay. All right. Well, something popping in for you right now. First of all, it's like you have a bit of a dead people fan club, I think. There's a lot of energy. And I think that could be part of the reason that all the names were coming in. Now your dad, his energy, I know. I've had him twice now, and that's really rare. So his energy, I know really well. And he's also shy and timid a little bit. Like he's a little back there. But I have got a whole bunch. And the reason that I'm saying this is I've got I'm going to fire some things off at you, but then there's, sorry, you're going to see me scribble here. So then there's something about Kabbalah, and there's a spirit guide that's very, very interesting. And it feels like that message is really big. Hold on. See, I've got dad. Do you know somebody that's got a funny name like Mood? Maudie Moody? Maudie Moody, I think. And
That name
male,
sounds familiar.
definitely male. Coming as a set, Tammy, like Moody. I'm sure that's what I'm hearing. And I believe that's a name. And it's like two M names. Mary, no wait, Mary or Marie, Mary, Moody, Marie. Okay, just keep that going. You have a crowd. Like I've got a bunch. This is so weird.
I know the name, but I can't think of it.
Okay. Okay, I think connected to this one, maybe. Who's Don? Don B. DB.
That's Donald Lindsay.
Don,
And
DB.
Moody was his uncle. I knew it.
Okay. All right.
And
That makes
Carol
sense.
was his mother. So you
Okay.
connected my whole
That's okay. Yeah, it's like a crowd, but I've also got, I can tell your dad, like I can feel him, but man, okay. Tell me this about your family. Like your, in-law side of your family, are they just more like boisterous and forward? Because the way it is right now is like that. It's like we're all here, but this is our personality and this is their personality, and it's super, different. It's like
they're funny and boisterous. Yeah.
center
Moody
of
had a
attention.
bar. He was a joker.
Okay, like center of attention, loud. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. So they're firing. There's a crowd. If I start firing names, it's just going to be silly because it's a lot. So, but I mean, I think you've got generations of people here, like generations of people. Weird. Sherry. It's one.
You're naming his whole family.
Really?
I mean, the whole thing.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
I loved Donald's dad. So
Father-in-law.
you've named my father-in-law, mother-in-law, his sister, one of his sisters, and
Okay.
his uncle. You've named the whole family.
Well, it's a crowd, and your dad, because your dad's come to me a couple times, and he's so timid and easy. It's just like he's just here. He's like he never, I'm like, and it just. But this crowd is really boisterous, and damn, everybody's crazy about you, right? They're just crazy about you. And
Yeah, I loved them.
yeah,
Still love them. Still see them all.
yeah, that all this bullshit, this human bullshit is like acting in a play, and we're all backstage waiting for you to finish the play. We're right here, is that kind of sense. But they've got spirit guides they're bringing in that seem to be really important. And the reason I say Kabbalah is this, there's like okay, let me just see if I can get it. So this one, and I know you've connected with spirit guides before, right? So let's see if you recognize any of this, because these are really forward for you right now. This is Mayak, Mayak, MAG. But the way I hear it is Mayak, and does not look human, Tammy, at all. But really like a lot of fire. Looks like my word is dinosaur, but it's not. I'm gonna say like almost looks like a dragon energy, like a beautiful, but lots of light and fire. So let's see what this is. This one is the one that's pointing me to something that's Kabbalah, which I'm going to tell you I know nothing about. So if I screw this up, well, let's see what they say here. Okay, hold on. This is part of the message. This is pointing to, what are you saying? This is, feels like a combination of where you are and who you are. And okay, the word is, it's Kabbalah, they're saying. A-I-N. Oh, just 2 words. S-O-P-H. Yeah, 3 words. A-I-N S-O-P-H A-U-R. Okay.
And so
And
that's
yeah.
the highest.
So here's the thing. This is saying, this is this Mayek. This is a spirit guide. Yeah, not always with you, but will be now. Now it's now. And I mean, whatever, for a bit here, and is going to stay. That meaning is true light, true infinite light. So where you are, it's you like emerging out of the void, out of this like nothingness or potentiality, and for you to recognize you have endless creativity and resources. Magic. Mayek.
Magic. It looks
I'm
like
getting
magic when I wrote it.
Yeah, it's M-A-G-E-C, but pronounced Mayek. So here's the message. Begin to look beyond physical objects. Anything. Mountains, trees, tables, anything. Physical objects. To see what was there before it existed as it, whatever you're looking at. This is where you see the light energy. You can begin to see it. I'm going to tell you something. I see it. So we'll talk about this. I see it, and I'm going to tell you what it took to get there. And when you see this, when you begin to see this, really see it, you have reached a point of understanding and meeting that you have no limit. This is important. Whoa, there's another one. Hold on. Hey, this one's very female. Kind of looks human, but isn't, I don't think, this energy. See what she calls herself. Belisima. Belisima. Okay. Very like orange and yellow and gold, but like it's got this reference to like Ireland or Celtic, I think. Which could very much have to do with your trip that you're taking. Okay, hold on, let's just see something. So this one's been with you always, but forward now, and has come back and forth. So part of this, I think, might be that inspiration to go there to Ireland. But so this is wild. Here's what she says. Word is, I don't know the word, like notable or obvious. recognition, acclaim, what did she say? Even admiration. Okay. Is something you are, okay, something you are stepping into, something that is coming your way. It's almost like a popularity, or it doesn't feel like fame, but it does. It like a notoriety, something, and it's like headed your way. You're walking that. Wow. So she's here just always, but forward right now in this, it's light, this true infinite light that you are, to help you, to remind you to hold your focus on your heart connection, to appreciate this and be grateful, like gratitude and appreciation for this admiration or this acclaim. It's starting to come in like a trickle at first and begins to grow. Now hold your focus on that heart, not be distracted by it, while maintaining an appreciation and a gratitude for it. So that practice of that, like that 10%, that practice of focusing on the part of your life that is perfect and following that bliss that allows that 10% that you feel isn't, filling in. It's this unimaginable thing. There's something on this path. It is so rare that I get anything that's coming forward, like in front of you, really rare. Okay. Wow. Right. I think they're quiet right now. Do you want to ask anything while they're standing there? While they're here? They're just quiet. Everybody's quiet.
I think you've answered it. I mean, I know that it seems like spirit guides come forward when I go to a place. And I knew there was something about Ireland because I kept getting that hit. And it's just been like, I mean, oh, well, I sent you that picture. Like I've been playing with the Irish and
that was so cute.
Isn't that hilarious?
St. Patrick's Day. And just now when you said that, I'm like, oh, I knew you were going to Iceland. You said Ireland. Now I see it's all starting to make sense. When you said we got on the phone, you said Ireland too. Okay.
Yeah. So it seems like when I go a place, like I can go to the Indian reservations, it seems like Indians come forward. I can go to Egypt and the Egyptian gods come forward. I mean, it really, and then I get messages, but then they pop in and pop out. They don't stay, and I've really not studied a lot about, Irish angels or anything like that, but there are lots of them in every location. So, I mean,
I've gotten them a few times for people. Some of them we can look up, some of them we can't. I don't know. You may be able to find this name to describe this energy. That's what it means to me. It's the way the spirit guides come. It's like, this is my energy. This is why I'm here. This is
like one of the highest vibrations. That meaning, I understand that meaning. It means that I've shifted from in the Kabbalistic system, there are 4 worlds. So there's the 3D world you're in, and then above it is there's certain angelic fields, and then you reach up, but the highest vibration in the Hebraic system is Insef, or it's a nothing and everything. That means everything and nothing.
That was the thing that changed my life right
I
there.
hear your message from white light is super powerful. There's no way that if you weren't connected, that you could name every person in a family that's no longer here. I mean, they're departed.
They just fire and float around, in my head. But this, yeah, it was I don't know what it was. The feeling of it is, I do know this: when someone like you can connect, you don't need a medium necessarily. They're communicating with you all the time, and you're even halfway aware of it, right? Your dad, you're talking to it. So they sort of, today was almost like, all right, we're going to play a game, right? We're just going to play a little game with you because we know you can hear, but we're going to put a little show. And that is really what it felt like. Like, we're just going to fire off a bunch of crap at her and make you laugh, right? Because you know it. And then really the point is, we want you to connect to these spirit guides, these guides, and that, so that you just have a sense. It was very quick, but strong.
The fire energy, I'm an Aries, so fire is powerful. You use all of the elements in the Kabbalistic system:
okay,
fire, air, earth, and water.
okay,
And that is my practice.
right.
I do those things all the time, and sound, meditation,
Okay.
and I play with you.
Yeah.
So I am grateful for my wonderful psychic friends.
I wouldn't be here. Like, I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for you, Gary, Isabel, right? There's just, a handful of you that, did certain modalities, worked on me, said things, gave me messages, and I started doing it. I started, okay, okay, all right, and just followed a trail. And that's how I just ended up, right? It just ended up here. And it was because of everybody. We just, you have to have everyone to do it. So your spirit guides are really cool. I'm going to look them up. Like, I'm on my computer right now, so I don't want to start like typing.
I'm going to look them up, and I'm glad I said that word, because, and I'm going to go back and look. Like, I studied that in 2016, and occasionally I'll go back through a book. So it might be good for me to go back through it again, because
it feels like they're leading you there. Like, there's something in it now for you. I mean, it was clearly, you said it on, on there, and I heard you. We just went on. I don't know anything about it, but when this started, everybody started rolling in. It was like that kind of pointed me back to that. You said that and noticed that Kabbalah, and so it feels really.
And I really, when I get messages, I really prefer to verbally record them.
Me too.
And I got one the other day that I was a seer. Well, what does that mean? I mean, we don't have seers in America. We use the word psychic, medium. We use these other. So this is a term I'm unfamiliar with, and I did not know what that meant. And I'll sit and journal, or I'll record a message. And I get these crazy dreams. I've told you about some of them, and
you've had actual visions in your dreams, or just visions of things I've already done. Like, okay, I did that last week. And exactly, so it's crazy. Remember, this one spirit guide, the one that's the Mayek, said to you, like you said, seer, you've emerged from this void into this this potentiality. In a way, it's like you would come up, but there's potentiality, there's this void, and you've just pushed into it, was sort of the image. And in it, you're beginning to start to get a grip on endless creativity and magic. Look beyond physical objects, which we'll talk about another time, but that's what that is. That's a seer. Look beyond physical objects to what was there before it was it.
Yeah. So this brings it together, and that's a really powerful message. And
really cool.
really loved that. And I did want to say, you remember the last time you did a reading for me, you said it was like a pie and the filling was coming in.
Right.
And people
What
were
you knew
going,
of now about your abilities were just the crust. Yeah.
That's right. So your messages have been, pretty profound, and we do change, and I'm really grateful that you're my friend and that
Me
your
too.
abilities have come through so strong. And I'm one of your biggest cheerleaders, and
I know you are. You're just the best. You are a big cheerleader and one of the people that helped me even, understand I could even be here. So I love you so much and I miss you. I can't believe I'm not going to see you till May, but
Yeah.
I'll live.
Well, maybe some more magic will come through by then.
It's true. It's not put it in a box. Yeah, but I know you're going to have a great time on your trip. So I love you.
I love you too. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Tell everyone hello.
I will.